This is Aella Phoenix of Galactic News, reporting live from the explorer core ship Verity in orbit around Darenti Four. On today's show, my special guest is Lieutenant Serenity Kassis. Welcome, Lieutenant Kassis.
Oh, come on, Aella. You've been calling me Siti for years, decades even.
For those who don't know, Siti and I traveled together to Earth 27 years ago.
I'd say we've aged pretty well.
Considering you're 25? I guess I have to agree. Why don't you remind my viewers how that happened?
Sure. It was right after I graduated from school. My dad was offered command of the mission to Earth, the first time anyone had been there since the evacuation 500 years ago. Since he was going to have to go into deep sleep for 20 years, he didn't want to leave me behind.
For our younger viewers, Phase 1 missions used to require decades in deep sleep.
That's right. 27 years ago, the CEC hadn't invented initial recon drones yet. The first IR drones that were launched only a few years after we left Grissom are only now reporting back to headquarters and deploying jump beacons. Those allow Phase 1 teams to jump into the system. Back in the day, initial recon and jump beacon deployment had to be done by humans. And since getting there took decades, the Explorer teams were sent in deep sleep pods.
Phase 1 teams don't normally include family members, do they?
No. Or galactic news reporters.
Touché.
Earth was a somewhat known quantity. I mean, they knew things would have changed, but they also knew there wouldn't be any hostile aliens or unknown animals. Evolution doesn't work that fast. And since the mission was high profile, they included a dozen reporters, like yourself. My dad has been the face of the CEC for over 100 years. They wanted the hero for that mission, so they were willing to include one more civilian. Me.
Admiral Kassis is known as the hero of Darenti Four because he discovered the Darenti.
To hear him tell it, they discovered him.
Yes, well, I hope to hear the story from the Darenti point of view in the next few weeks, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Tell us a little about the mission to Earth.
After we landed, we discovered that ancient evacuation had not been as complete as previously thought. Hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions, never left Earth. We don't have a good estimate because that was 500 years ago.
And presumably, many of them did not survive long after the evacuation.
That is the assumption, yes. Shortly after we landed, we met some survivors of the evacuation who had believed no one had survived.
Survivors who believe? That doesn't make any sense.
You make it sound like you weren't right there with me. Nice work, Aella.
Recording pause. I'm going to have to cut that part. Pretend I don't know what happened.
Really? Do you think your viewers don't remember you were there? You just said you were. Okay, whatever.
Thank you. Recording on. Lieutenant Kassis, how could there be survivors who believed no one had survived?
500 years ago, when they learned the evacuation had ended, a few thousand people gathered at the Ross Research Institute. They call it the Dome, even though it looks nothing like a dome from the outside. It was built to house scientists who would stay on Earth to monitor changes to the environment after everyone else was gone. It had incredible capabilities to grow food and purify the air for those survivors. But according to the ancients, that's what the people who originally went into the dome call themselves.
How could they call themselves anything? You're talking about people who lived 5 centuries ago.
Yes. At that time, Dr. Ross, the director of the facility, realized not everyone would be evacuated from the planet. So he built the dome to house as many people as possible and included a deep sleep facility for 10,000 more.
10,000? All in deep sleep?
There are generations of people who were born, lived, and died inside the dome. There were thousands more asleep for 500 years beneath it. And there were a small group of scientists and administrators who stayed awake on a rotating schedule, much like the CEC ship crews who flew those Phase 1 missions we talked about at the beginning. Usually 5-year shifts. Those people are called the Ancients. And when we arrived, most of them had been awake and outside for about 2 years.
Zane Torres, the Earth ambassador, is one of them.
Yes. He was the one who convinced my dad it was even possible. Dad recognized him from his Insane Vidman show.
Older viewers may remember those original Earth videos were very popular a few decades ago. It's hard to believe Ambassador Torres and Insane Whitman were the same person.
Have you watched those old vids? It's not hard at all. If you imagine him younger, you can see it. Or if you talk to him, his voice is exactly the same.
So let's talk about why you're here on Darenti.
I'm just part of the Phase 2 team.
I guess technically the CEC never sent a Phase 2 team to Darenti because after your father discovered intelligent life, the planet was put into quarantine status.
That's what I understand, yes. Now, after a century of study and negotiations, we're back.
You say you're just part of the team, but you're the daughter of the man who discovered the Darenti, and you arrived with Joshua Torres, son of the Earth Ambassador. Does this feel like a highly orchestrated reunion?
That's one way to put it. Yes, I suspect being the daughter of the hero probably ensured I got this assignment, just like being the ambassador's son is the main reason Joss was assigned. Are we fully qualified for our positions? Absolutely. Is it fair that we were chosen over other, equally competent explorers? You tell me. They had to pick someone, so why not us? We all know the CEC is under extreme scrutiny and potential budget cuts. Leadership is going to use whatever means are at their disposal to put this mission in a favorable light. And if that means assigning highly publicized members like me and Joss to this mission, that's what happens. We didn't ask for that notoriety. Take this interview, for example. You could have interviewed anyone. There are dozens of other explorers here, but you chose me, and I'm willing to bet you'll talk to Joss too. The CEC knows this. It's why they cleared me to speak with you. Good publicity for the Corps. But once we're done with this interview, Joss and I are both going to do the job we were trained to do, the job we've done on other exploration missions.
But Darenti isn't like other CEC missions, is it?
Neither was Earth.
True. I noticed you didn't mention Lieutenant Lee.
Derek Lee? Why would I mention him? Sure, I know him. I've known him since the academy, but he's a Navy shuttle pilot. I suppose he might transport us to the planet. But other than that, I don't expect to interact with him at all.
And what do you have to say about the rumored romantic triangle between you, Torres, and Lee?
Ew, no, there's nothing romantic between any of us. Joss is my friend, my platonic friend. And Lee? Well, at best, he's a former enemy.
Sounds like the makings of a love triangle to me.
What? No.
Lieutenant Kassis, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. For Galactic News, this is Aella Phoenix, currently on the ECS Verity in orbit around Darenti Four.
If you'd like to hear about Siti's original trip to Earth, listen to the Earth Concurrence, available on Spoken and on the author's YouTube channel.
If you'd like to read these stories or listen to them, they're here on YouTube, or you can always get the ebooks on Amazon, or you can get the paperbacks on all of the places you can buy paperbacks, including my website, juliahuney.com.